Good morning and welcome to today's live show. If you need those daily expected moves, they are in the bottom right corner. If you're already part of Patreon, you should already have those levels and you're ready for the day because we put out a little update video this morning. But that update video is a lot of ideas that could happen from here because the market is at somewhat risk of seeing weakness and momentum, but we are making new highs, suggesting that we at least want to see a tag of 600, if not break through that and see those calls roll forward. There are some interesting looks out there, and one of them we've been paying attention to was Google. Google able to curl up on a 2 hour as of today, needs to take out this high, but that 30-minute divergence proving to be a very, very nice little trade for the time being, able to make that new high. Now we're going to be looking for that higher low from the 30-minute, if it even gives it to you, or is it going to squeeze? This is a very, very interesting one. It looks very nice. But for the SPY, the most likely thing for today is still to curl down on the 30-minute. What we would like to see is the uproar happen on a Friday. We really would. So we're hoping that this isn't going to be that continued stair stepper kind of look anymore, but instead we're going to see that for a moment here and then actually show that maybe break down for a bit of time to come in and test that 5-day moving average is all you really need at this point. But the 30-minute is still in positive territory. If the 2 hour does start to roll, you want to treat that a little bit more seriously because this is closer to the center line than you would like. And this does not have the structure that would really say, like, yeah, we're going to make a divergence or something like this. If we made that, it would be very fast and we will be very aware of that. But you're more likely to either see this like fail now or extend using a 30-minute pullback to extend that move forward going into that Friday session, going into next Monday. So we'll pay attention to it at this time. Looks like a pivotal point in the market where we can end up at higher levels. But if the 2 hour crosses down and momentum shows us something bad, we don't want this low broken because we open up all the pathways to the downside. As of this morning, there was some talk about Donald Trump and China or something, talking about how they're going to discuss things further in the future. And I thought that was very, very interesting. I haven't fully looked into that report. I just kind of saw it out there this morning. I just thought it was pretty interesting. I could probably find like a little quote or something like that. I think it was um like Chinese media is reporting on a call between President Trump and Xi Jinping. They engaged in discussions and they will look forward into their communications into the future amid and it says like amid tensions as well. So that just tells you like, yeah, there's kind of a little bit of a competitive back and forth to try to get a good deal is probably how I would put it. But for right now, it seems that that's going to be a big deal. So we'll really watch any kind of news with China. This is why I'm keeping my eye even more so on Apple. Apple is likely to see some kind of roll down again, weirdly enough, where you can go down into this a little bit deeper before you can curl up into positive territory. That's possible. You could be done now. You've already tapped into the zone. So if that 30-minute can confirm up, that could be where we're actually confirming up a daily scale, and Apple starts to potentially even squeeze into the upside of this zone. If we see some kind of breakout, we are looking at that 216 to 217 level for Apple. Once again, if it is going to fail, you will see the 2 hour cross down. You will see it break trend. You will see it break through this low, and you will most likely see that break down over time. All right. So Apple will be an interesting to keep your eye on, even though the market looks like, hey, we're about to make some kind of top here or something like that. Some names are dropping off, like Tesla, so we could see a big rotation game. You see this all the time towards tops where like some start to fall, but bigger ones hold you up. That can happen in this time, and I think we could see that continue for a couple of weeks. This was announced earlier this week as a scheduled event. Okay, good. Okay, good. I'm just seeing it for the first time. So that would still mean that overall 30-minute pullback, like remaining sideways is still a good thing, or like a tag of 600 and then we see this thing start to break down and then we actually curl to the upside. That would be very, very interesting. So we have to see how it shapes up throughout the day. Our job is to analyze and react, right? So we trade like water. So if we see a bad signal confirm, it just means we're going to wait to see better things, right? We're trading like water, being nice and patient, paying attention to our risk, paying attention to how we can be wrong, but also making sure we have a solid plan for if we're going to be right, which as of right now would say we are very likely to go test this weekly expected move, but we could experience some kind of pulling back still first, all right? The weird look for me is volatility. Volatility, very weird look right now. You have like this flatness down here, up on the MACD, up on the RSI, like it really wants to turn around the 2 hour chart. Like I said, you don't want this 2 hour to just like pop off. You really don't. You want this to be like some kind of little move, little slow sideways type move that just fails. And then if you really look at this, and we say, are we going into a trap? Well, if you extend and we get some kind of 2 hour to curl up like this, and then it curls down pretty aggressively over time, you can see that by later next week, we could be forming the actual 2 hour divergence that would suggest, hey, we could get a daily pullback. All right. So we're going to read into these things into the future and see how they shape up. My question is this 2 hour actually going to pop off right now, as we still haven't broken those lows from back before on the daily scale? So there's going to be some stuff to watch today. We did get some initial jobless claims and things like that, but overall, we just need to see if this can hold good price action, and then we can see if we can head to the upside. Good morning. Happy positive vibes. My test is short from 334, looking real good. Hell yes. Let's go. Yeah, Rajiv. I mean, as far as Tesla goes, from what'd you get it at? 334? Yeah, 334. I mean, this was kind of like, hey, we broke it. Look for that moment for retest to then roll. Looks pretty nice. You are getting down to certain areas where you're about to be in that decision-making time, just so you are aware. You have a little bit lower to go, but you do have a decision to be made down there, and you won't have any divergences at that point. Now, you want to watch for big retests at this point, right? If this is going to be a bigger move down, well, then this is going to do what? Retest those sellers, fall. Retest the sellers, fall. So if you're going to end up down in this direction, we still can see that kind of reaction like this to fall one more time. All right. We'll still be paying attention to it. Tesla looks a little risky from this standpoint. We'll have to see. Even daily time frame still suggesting daily pullback at this moment. So you are in the structure of, we have broken this now very cleanly, and now we could see that slight reaction up to do what? Fall down again. So even if this wants to break down lower, look for that reaction up into this zone. And then it'll most likely show you some kind of like 2 hour pop and 2 hour drop. And we might be dropping a pretty significant amount of time after that. We'll have to see. We'll have to see how far this can extend. For now, we're just kind of watching this thing and going, okay, this is interesting. Right now, gap up, and I would say gap up and fade seems the most likely. Or tag of 600 first, then fade the move. I think they could leak this out for some time, right? You could really leak this out for a long time, right? Get into Friday, start to see upside, go down, right? We could really milk this out to like this kind of look, to where you're not even breaking that move till Monday. A lot here, but everything here is still bullish. Nothing has flipped to bearish. I know a lot of people are bringing up APLD. Let's go look at that. A lot of people looking at this one right now. This is like worrisome, but also not at the same time, because you have such good buyers. But just so you know, these are the type of moves. Let's see. Yeah, okay, I guess it's right here. You see, these are the type of moves that when they kind of just go vertical, you watch out for those retests like really fast lower. And if you go too deep and you break that low, it's a problem. So you're going to be watching, weirdly enough, you're just going to be watching this zone pretty heavily. And at some point, right, if this is going to give you the opportunity, we might come all the way back down into that zone, which would be great. You could potentially mark off the high and the low in here as well, but I think you still want to pay attention to the nearest price action that you broke through. So APLD, I think the next real big opportunity would be whenever this 2 hour curls back up, right? It can do this, it can do this, it can do this. And all of those would be a good thing, but all of those just say, hey, when this 2 hour curls up into positive territory, that's the next opportunity as far as APLD goes. I hesitate to short things like this. It's very hard to call a top in something like this, even though you do have forms of 30-minute divergence on your RSI. You can see how we could just and then continue again, and then continue again if we really wanted to. But I think you're looking like something like this, and then it'll get ugly for APLD. I think you see some kind of 30-minute divergence here, and then APLD starts to back off a bit. And that's where the 2-hour can then pull back, right? Retest into something maybe a little bit lower, and then we see if that can go again. Ooh, that would take you pretty deep into June. So this most likely doesn't behave well with divergences. As of right now, 30-minute, we are continuing to pull back with what, guys? We're pulling back with time. We're just going sideways. That is not bearish. We would like price to come down lower, but if price doesn't come down lower, that's nothing we can do about it. There was one that I was interested in looking at with you guys, and I wanted your opinion. So make sure to give your opinions here if you'd like. It was actually DJT. DJT, very, very interesting here for DJT. Let's get rid of this because we're doing block resistance lately. Where was the block that we really needed to break through? Well, as of right now, it's obviously above us, but the one that we did break through was actually right here. And it's actually measured from the low here because that's a kind of a sporadic move, so I don't want to take that into consideration. Even if I did, hey, you're touching into the center of that zone. But I think this is a better place to mark off, more resistance and support there. For the time being, is this just the daily retest, right? Is this just the big move for the first push? This is the second, this is the dip, and then you're going to reload and actually go higher, right? So this is something I'm very much so watching right now on the daily scale. You do have some pretty good sellers above you, so you're going to need to see a big move, but this 30-minute looks like it might get going soon, and DJT might end up actually seeing this 2-hour go positive. So what's the risk here? The risk here is you're not done, and you have another 2-hour push down. So what you're looking for is anytime that starts to roll on the 2-hour, you look for that deeper price. You look for divergence here. If no divergence pops up, then you're very likely to continue, especially if you break the bottom of the zone. So this will be a very interesting time for DJT. It looks like a moment of, is this a daily retest? Can the 30-minute swing up, and can we get a big move? Or are we just going to confirm down a 2-hour and continue to sell off for DJT? I think this would be a very interesting one to keep on the radar, just because of the daily time frame. Now, dailies are harder to see, right? You have to really be paying attention in here at this 2-hour to say, okay, are we rolling this again, right? Are we rolling it again? And your 30 minutes positive, so that at least needs to go negative, and then you can start to roll. What would the roll look like on the 30-minute? Well, you would break this low, retest, right? Get some kind of retest. That's where if I'm long or something like that, you want to be thinking about, hey, managing risk, and then you see that come down again. Then we can watch out for 30-minute divergence, right? The game never stops. That's the good part. I just think it's interesting on the daily scale. Like you can't tell me that taking out this level, going up like this, and then coming down into here is a bad thing right now. What you really want to see is like, is it going to be a bad thing? Is it going to continue to see selling with that 2-hour roll? I just think it's interesting, though. I think it's very, very nice. Amazon with a pretty nice move to start out here, and this is the same type of look, right? What do? We break through that high, we tap into here, and boom, we could go off to the races to something like 220, right? I showed you guys how they were reaching up to the 220s, and we just don't want to lose this low. Very, very cool. IWM starting to slow it down a little bit right now, starting to slow it down. But is this just a 30-minute buildup? Is this the 30-minute pullback? Are we just overall pulling back with a little bit of weakness, but more so time to actually break to the upside here and get another strong move? That'll be very, very interesting for us because on the daily scale, IWM is doing exactly what it needs to do as well. So the dailies are really saying, and they almost said bad things, right? They were close to being like, get worried for a sec. Oh, no, we use it as support. Okay, we're good. So is this going to be a massive move? That's my question. Or is this going to be peak our head above and set an absolute trap? So you really do, if you're a bull here for IWM, and we are leaning in that direction as of right now. We haven't seen anything roll. We haven't seen this low taken out. So this is still overall saying like, hey, you got a good chance to see some kind of squeeze. I think that squeeze could take you even as high as like something like 222. Anything higher than 222 starts to look really, really bullish. But from 222, if you're able to even get there, you're looking for a pullback in the next like a daily, like a big, like a possible like rug pull, actually, like a daily pullback because we've had up so much that this is very likely to extend. But it's once it stops and how it stops is really going to dictate, like, hey, is there some big weakness here for IWM? All right, here we go. Keep pulling back on that 30-minute. Get nice and close to that center line. We'd love to see it. Is this going to be one of those days where we like fool around and we just do nothing until the last 30 minutes? Maybe. Amazon does look strong. We can look at Walmart. I don't mind looking at Walmart, these idiots. Good. Walmart's going down. 30-minute divergence at the high outside of the zone. It is breaking through a zone. You might have daily divergence here. Yeah, you have daily divergence here. So if daily divergence does confirm, that leads towards like we're going to see a dump here all of a sudden for Walmart. Now, that could be to reach down to find those buyers in this wick. All right. So just be aware of that. We could just be doing this to go like this. All right. And then you can kind of see the structure here, right? If we start to pull this down and we kind of go, okay, well, what's it going to need to break through? It's going to have to break through all of this. So really soon you're going to be marking off like all of this noise in here. You're going to be marking all this off and you're going to be looking down and going, okay, we're kind of stuck in between these areas as we build those blocks. But for the most part, you've created that shoulder, right? So if you're able to even do this and find your footing, you can do stuff like that. If you're going to break down, the daily divergence is suggesting that you are going to break down, okay? So if you're going to break down, look for a break of this wick, right? If you're going to head down, you can see a little stair step or move like this, but you really want to pay attention if this wick is broken, and then you retest again and you go down lower, all right? This is not a good sign for Walmart. This is a daily divergence for Walmart. This is not the best thing to see, and you're getting confirmation possibly even today. Walmart, in order to get rid of this, really needs to start seeing positivity on the 2-hour scale. And I'm just not seeing that positivity. I'm not seeing that positivity. So what you would want to happen here to extend the move is the 2-hour to pull down and the 2-hour to cross up. That's all you want. This zone doesn't need to be here yet. This zone is still the important thing, okay? So this tells us that this needs to see some support probably before you do anything that crosses below here. You need this to be kind of quick and just turn right back up. That is how this remains bullish. But right now you are confirming, potentially by end of day, a daily sell signal. It's not necessarily a good thing, but you always want to pay attention to how you can get screwed. And this is how you get screwed in that play. A 2-hour is able to curl up into positive territory. That would be my management for risk. Looks like people were pretty neutral yesterday. Pretty neutral yesterday. Google's doing something good. Yay, that's what we wanted. That'd be probably the better thing, right? Cool. That'd be probably the better thing. I'm a big believer in just let markets market, right? Like we don't. Sometimes you would just say like let markets market. I think like I'm not a big fan of like Fed speakers coming out all the time and things like that. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that. It creates these like windows of weakness and windows of volatility for market makers to grab liquidity, and it's just like, dude, like let the market flow how the market wants to flow. But we always see, that's why like you guys know on Fed days, right? We see like up, down, then we pick a direction. Or we go like down, up, then we pick a direction and we still go up. It's just liquidity grabs. We could show you. Probably could show you, honestly. I don't even remember the last time we saw it, but wasn't it like... Where the heck was it? Where's the last one? I feel like you could see it. Was it here? I think it was here. Yeah, I think it was right here. Bam, into bam. You get down, up, back down on the wick, gap up, down, up. Like, I think that was the time. Very confusing during that time. A lot of people treat that as earnings. Hold on, a wifey's messaging. Okay, they will be out for a bit. Let me go reload real quick on some water, and I'll be right back, okay? Alrighty. So the interesting thing for me is still like this 2 hour looks like it wants to get going. That's the interesting thing. Like this is very possible. And this is what we don't want. You want this. You want a 2 hour bar like this. You want that. You don't want any further than that. You want a bounce right off of that critical level. maybe Upland Group. Finn, I hope you're being sarcastic. Oh my gosh, we're absolutely booming to the all-time high. I'm putting everything in. Oh, geez. Google looks great. We've gone over the Google trade like a million times over the last like 3 days. It's been looking great. SoFi is a more complex one that I do still like, right? I do still like SoFi. The problem I'm having with SoFi is just like the structure here is like, okay, we're doing this. It needs to see a pop off moment, son. Like that's what it needs, right? If you want to see the blocks, right, you're really paying attention to the blocks. Like when you were down here, what area were you watching, right? You're watching here, very, very simply. And you're going, okay, we're struggling to do what? Stay up here. We're struggling. Why? Because we came in from the downside. We came in from the downside again, right? You broke twice. You're still seeing rejection as of now. This is why you want that pop off, son. Or even pop off stronger, right? Just boom, and then come down for a bit. And then you see that pop off again. Like this is your 2 hour pullback. Yeah, that's pretty much what like a 2 hour pullback would be. For the daily scale for SoFi, this just be fine, right? Daily swing trade. You really look at this, and we'll put this away for a second and just add up to this, and you go, oh, this is good. It can go for another push down, though. Do you not have room here to go down? Yeah, you can. So watch if the 2 hour rolls, right? Watch if the 2 hour rolls. That's how you go boom, boom, boom. And everyone says, this is awful, this is terrible. And you go, it's not that bad. And then you just see, hey, did the daily curl up? Oh, daily swing trade. Okay, where's that going? Oh, okay, well, the daily swing trade will take us to where? Well, it'll probably take you up to 1584. All right, just plan out the trade and look for the movement, and then look for the movement, right? When you're drawing things out, right? You'll see me draw things out constantly. I'm constantly thinking, constantly. But the constant thinking is to figure out if I can see the motion of the ocean, right? If I can figure out and see if I can understand what SoFi is doing. And then once I see the thing to take a trade, that's when I do something, right? Right when I see those reasons. So as of right now for SoFi, what would I need to see in order to take a positive play? Well, I might say, I don't like this setup, and that's perfectly fine. I might say that, right? And then I might say, I like a setup that's a little bit deeper that shows me like up and down. And then I see a new high, and then I'll take this trade over here, right? Maybe that's the structure I'm looking for. Maybe I do want to assume risk right away, though. And maybe I want to look at a 30-minute and say, hey, that curled up. Yeah, we got a big wick here, but that curled up. It actually beat a lot of these sellers. So maybe I do want to get in here. And then if that just rolls down and breaks this low, I can be out of the play. And then I can look at what? I can look at weekly expected move to find a target here. And I can say, okay, so for SoFi, what am I looking at? Well, I'm looking at a trade from about here to potentially like 14, 14.20, something like this. And then I'm going to expect a pullback, right? So the trade is technically like this little leg here. And then you say, where's my management for risk if that's not going to happen? It's right here. And do you see how this is longer? That's how you get those risks to rewards in the right place. That's how you get the solid like little profit versus your little stop in there, right? Your profit versus the loss. You're like, hey, there's a good ratio there. So there's ways to execute different kinds of trades. Like there's ways to execute different kinds of trades. So that's just the fact. Everyone, like, you don't understand. Right now, there is a guy looking at SoFi on a 30-second chart. I bet you money. I bet you money there's a bunch of them looking on a 30-second chart right now. There's at least like, what, 50 people, maybe, looking at a 30-second chart. I bet you there's like thousands and thousands and thousands of people looking at this on a 1-minute chart. That's just how it works. Like, there's always people watching these things. And they trade it differently than you. So you have to figure out what's the trade that you want to execute. Is it a little 30-minute push? Is it a daily push? Is it Apple on the daily? These type of things do matter. Apple right now trying to turn down for that second push lower. What am I looking for Apple? I'm looking for Apple to test that 283 to be exact. To be exact, it's 283, but it's right near that center line. I'm looking for that, but what am I really looking for? Is it just touch that line and I'm done? Or am I going to try to look at shorter time frames to see good structure in here and see a little high taken out and then I make my decision? Am I going to wait for the 30-minute MACD to curl up, right? Am I going to wait for confirmation? And I think you could wait for confirmation in this case because you're trying to confirm up a daily chart, which is just fantastic. So I'm going to really pay attention to Apple here and leave Apple the room for a 2-hour pullback, right? It can pull, 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 right? That'll take you into potentially Monday. That would pull this straight down like here. And then we can see if that's able to turn around into positive territory. And that just says, okay, we're good to go, right? So we'll watch it. Just like we're watching other ones like this one, DJT, it's starting to drop off. Do you see the 2-hour dropping off? So that's really saying what? Oh, we could go down like this. And then we can see what happens. Like, right? Make that high so we know, hey, if we cross through that, if we have divergence, we can take it. If we cross through, we say it's good. We look for the retest, and then we keep going. And maybe it doesn't even retest if this thing likes to, because, DJT does like to rip, but it does like to retest. You see this into this, this into this, this into this. That's all retests. Then you get a big move. You can probably look back here as well. I wonder if it shows it too in the beginning stages. Actually, it retested the whole way up. Yep, this was right here. Bam. So your first retest was here. Second retest was here. It was right in that block. Third retest right here, going down into here. And actually, this was the better retest right here. This was the better bar as far as buyers go. These weren't very good. These, yeah, it kind of stopped retesting then. So around like here, you just started to boom. And then what did you do? Retested. Buyers. Go again. Oh, we stall out, but we just leak that thing higher. Retest. It likes to retest. So expect that in some kind of daily trade. And the reason we're talking about this being potentially a trade is if it shapes up, right? We're being aware of it. We're being aware if it goes to the wick, right? How do you make a divergence here without like losing this low? You come down like this, then you turn around and you show the body of a closing candle down here, and boom, there's your divergence. That would be best case. That's like the best case scenario. Someone just did it. Someone we were paying attention to did it. I think it was Google. It was Google. Google did it, and look at this move. All right, Google did exactly what I'm talking about with that divergence, not losing the low, but making a divergence. What did it do? It gave you that closing bar. It gives you the divergence point, but you don't lose the low. And then you see a good move that takes you above what? Well, both the highs. 1, 2. Very good. So what should you be expecting here? Well, at some point, you're going to maybe just scale this thing up, and eventually you're going to do what? You're going to retest. Maybe you're doing this, 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 right? Maybe it just scales up higher and it does that somewhere else, right? That can happen. But this is when you say, hey, this is a good play. This is going to potentially take out this high, if not go all the way to this high or break out of the zone. 30-minute has done it. Now I'm expecting retest at any point to head higher or higher. You're leaning towards higher or retest to head higher. If this starts to go bad, you will see the MACD cross probably somewhere around this level. And then you will say, okay, we're very likely to take out this low and go make a new one. And as we did just go positive, it's very likely that that's going to wipe out divergence. Right, we're talking about the plays a little bit more extensively. Like I want to create a section for like further into Patreon where we're really going in depth with everything on the screen that I like to utilize, so we can talk deeper about these things and get a better understanding, and also see trade setups where you can really practice. Or maybe you just like trade setups and you want to see some setups that you can try to execute on, right? Maybe you've traded for a bit of time. I would love to do that come July. Have it be a little bit more condensed so we can really focus on people that like are serious and want to get better. I think that would be fantastic. We can focus on some individuals from time to time. I think it would just be a great little thing. What do you think of AMD? SPY dropping is a 30-minute pullback. There's nothing to worry about here just yet. Once you start to lose daily move, you have an argument. Once you start to lose the daily move, you have an argument because you can turn that into resistance, right? So once you lose this, you have an argument. But if you're just doing this all morning long and then you see this get to like, you know, the end of the day and then it starts to do this, hey, what are you doing for Friday? Well, you're going to that 600. And that could be a trap. This could be a trap, couldn't it? Can't you see? Can't you see if we did this, into this, into this? That'd be kind of a problem. So we'll watch it very closely here. You want this move to be an extension. You want this to extend. You want this move to be like, bam, right? You want this to be a like a Friday. You just squeeze it. No curl downs, no divergence formed really. And then you just want to see that kind of go, bam, retrace, go again, right? You want to kind of get a bam and then get that 2 hour to pull back probably. We'll see. As of right now, so super bad. Is our thing curling down? Ooh, it might. This 2 hour might curl down. It means there is some risk here. Probably want to make sure that's turning up by the end of the day. The 2 hour for volatility does not have major reversal signals. So this could be a dip. But it also goes too high, right? Do I want to be in calls if I'm like shorter dated especially? Do I want to be in calls right now if I'm like looking at Friday? Oh yeah, I'm gonna buy calls. No, there's too much risk out. You need to see it turn around before you're confident here. Maybe do some 5-minute business. Tesla, look for 218. Liquidity grabber, does someone know something? Exactly. The weird signal for me is the VIX. The VIX is the weird signal. The VIX is saying the 2 hour can flip around, like flip. But the 2 hour is so negative, it's like, so pretty much this is saying we could get a 2 hour pullback here, and it's actually not that bad. I don't think we even get a 2 hour pullback. I think we pop off sun, but that's me. And that's what I want to happen. So maybe there's some bias there, right? Oh, sorry, did I say 218 for Tesla? I meant, sorry, I did not mean 218. I said that completely wrong. It's actually 318. So bouncing from these levels is very likely. Sorry, I was looking at the wrong thing. 318. So this is dumping though. Like this is not one that is doing what it needs to do to go higher. This is suggesting daily pullback still, right? Where would it like to pull back to, and how amazing would it be if it got there this week? You want to say a liquidity grab, right? Whatever bad news they're shouting about this, man, just look if it comes and taps into here. Just look if it comes and taps into here. And then see if you get a nice reaction from that. Now, this is kind of weird to do. If it did this and then gave all that up, I would be very surprised. You still want to be aware that you're caught between two zones now, so you might just ping pong. But this would be like, hey, what did we do? We broke out through the zone, right? We tried to make another one and use it. We can't, so we go down deeper. And then we have to see if this is some kind of move down, right? How will we see more likely this is a move down? If you break through that entire zone. If you hold up at that zone, you just watch and see if it rolls, right? But if you hold up at that zone, it's a very good chance that you could just like curl up, see like a 2-hour move like this. Or maybe it just rips through again. Tesla's a beast, man. Tesla does crazy shit. Like you have to know, like Tesla does some crazy stuff. Tesla has like the highest implied steady, like consistently high implied volatility. It's just consistent, always has high implied volatility. So if you're choosing to trade Tesla, you're choosing to have just a super high volatile move. And that's where you suggest like, hey, look at like a 30-minute move or a 2-hour move. Daily moves are good too. It's just hard to get the timing and be able to like mentally withstand like, oh, this is just ripping up by 5% every day for the last 6 days. Like it's just wild. Am I Nvidia calls? Nvidia's troubling. Nvidia's in the same type of scenario as it's in a similar. I don't want to say same because it's not the same. Tesla's structure looked better than Nvidia, and Nvidia is able to hold up. So if that tells you anything, it can just say individual names make individual moves. But this is the 2-hour divergence that I'm really worried about for the market. This is convincing me to get rid of some of the things I have if this confirms. This is not something I am happy about here. You are noticing that the divergences are adding up, right? You're getting all the divergences. They're all holding. If this 2-hour drops down, I think you're very likely to take out this low and start that stair-stepping kind of thing down, right? And then you see this react up again, and then we just dump, right? I think you could dump back into the top of this zone. I think that's possible. I really didn't think we had to revisit these levels, but we haven't seen that squeeze moment. If we can get that squeeze moment, then where would you revisit later? You would just come back down into here, right? So Nvidia is a tough spot. And for me, if I was like in calls on Nvidia, and this is just me, you know, take into consideration, you are not me, make your own decision. But this is how I think about this type of thing. Just say it out loud to yourself. I am in calls. I see a triple divergence on the 2-hour chart. I know that that can cause a daily pullback, which means downward prices. We have seen a pretty damn big move here and consistently headed up without seeing a daily pullback. I would rather be like risk-free, aka not in anything, or risk off for this than doing anything. Because hey, if I'm right, is that like this says I'm right. If I'm wrong, well, we could go really, really wrong here, right? So that's how I look at it. If I see something with triple divergence on a 2-hour, I'm not taking calls. That's just how I am. I don't do it. I look for a different stock. That's what I would say about it. I am not looking at this for calls. If anything, this is something I would be trying to call a top on right now and fun accounting out the ass. And I'd be targeting, like, I would be degenning it on my fun account and taking like fucking 120s for the end of the month. Like, that's what this look says if it confirms, right? And then the reason that would be just a risk to reward fun account play is because I wouldn't risk a lot of money behind that because you're looking at Nvidia, one of the beasts of the market, and you want to short it. You want to try to call a major top on that. It's tough to do. These are the signals you see at a major top, though. Isn't that wild? This still has divergence. We could head down. We could head down here for the month. That'd be crazy. So I was kind of looking at that 4 hour, right? You see that 4 hour trying to confirm down? This is not good signals. This says we're going to stop. But all it takes is one tweet. How does Netflix work? Netflix works as a play to try to get AMC to zero. That's what a stock like that looks like. Like Nvidia is telling us there's a top here, weirdly enough. If Nvidia confirms that, it's saying this is highly likely to be a top. Now we could see something a little crazy, but this is actually shaping up to something a little bit freaky. Just so you're aware. I mean, that's what your signals say. But in your squeeze behavior, you always look for how it can continue. Okay? So all Nvidia has to do is curl up a 30-minute chart and it goes higher. Isn't that crazy? Yeah, you can always do the irrational thing. So pay attention to the irrational thing. And if the irrational thing confirms, then you probably shouldn't be doing the rational thing, which is shorting. You have to go against it for a little bit and look for the rational thing to show its face again. Great morning. Can't get right. Hope you're doing good this morning. I'm chugging coffee over here. That VIX is getting going. I don't see the structure from volatility that says this has to be massive. I mean, I'm really not. The only thing I'm seeing is we're not losing the low. If this is double bottom right now in some way, no way, man. No way. We're going to reject from this zone. If we actually see volatility kick in here, man, maybe I want to take those longs off. Yeah, maybe I want to take those longs off. I don't know. I'll probably decide by end of day. I just don't want that 2 hour to confirm. I want the 30 minutes to just curl up here. There's so many buyers in here. But Nvidia is kind of saying, it's like, hey man, it's a rough spot. Yeah, Tesla should continue downside. You look for the trend to change for Tesla. That's the simplest way to put it. Look at a 15-minute or a 30-minute chart and see a high, mark it off, and see if that high gets broken. Look for a retest. And that's when you know it's shifting, right? Right now it's down. Tesla's just down. It's downtrend on the 30-minute, no signs of turning around. You want to see the price. You want to see like not price really. Like that's why price action. I'm like, not so much. But as far as your signals go, you will see that momentum change. The reason you want to pay attention to momentum with the VIX is because momentum can happen within puts and calls, right? And that's pretty much what it's measuring, right? It's measuring calls a month out. So if you're seeing a big move up in the stock market to make a new high and you see a divergence, and then maybe on VIX, so like this. Like, so on the SPY on the daily, if you saw this, right, and that's going down like this, and you see that divergence, and then on volatility, you actually see this. You actually don't see divergence. You see a higher low. What does that tell you about people in the market right now? Or at least some people, maybe enough people that know something that you don't. Well, we weren't, why did this high, why were people really worried about it and started to hedge dramatically all of a sudden? Right? And then you see that confirm and you go, hey, wait a second, that's confirming. Wait, we're starting to break this low. And then you see it retest again in here, and then people go, oh no, it's fine. And then you curl down and you just make like left head, right shoulder, right? That happens like all of the time. It happens a ton of the time, right? So the reason you can read into the momentum is because it is real data and it's options data. And options are a lot of what dictate this market. That's like why we have massive liquidity grabs that are really, really fast now, right? That's why you see those wicks down on the 1 minute chart, right? When you're watching these things, you'll see those things because they need to go grab those option orders. Yeah. Now, it's not going to be the same all the time, Suri, but when it's the same at the same time, I like to look for it. When there's a reversal signal on VIX and an opposite reversal signal on SPY at the same time, that can be lower high for VIX, that can be divergence for SPY, that can be lower high for SPY, that can be divergence for VIX. I just want to see something that says turn around at the same time. We don't have that on the 30-minute. We don't have that on the 2-hour, weirdly enough. On the 30-minute, VIX is saying we're going to pop, but the SPY doesn't say that. On the 2-hour, the SPY says we're going to drop, but volatility doesn't say that right now. So it's just like, it says we have potential to, but it doesn't say we're going to. So it's just very interesting. I think you're in a time where it's very like 55-45. It's like bulls are in control, but not in a ton of control is what it seems like. Like, it seems like this is coming to an end sooner than I thought. I think this might end actually before June 20th, like I thought. And then we looked at expiration June 18th. I think maybe right before expiration or like the expiration before expiration, something like that. It's kind of crazy. CVNA. It looks like it's going to the moon as someone keeps buying it, but it's overbought. Not sure what to do. Usually when you're not sure what to do, it means don't do anything. All right, first of all. The second thing is you're probably going to get a pullback now. I'm just going to call it out. I think you're going to get a pullback now. Does that mean short this? Fuck no. This means that a bullish play is going to be really freaking easy because you don't have divergence on the 2-hour. So all you have to do here is, even if it just keeps doing whatever, all you have to do here is look for this type of shape. That's all you have to do. Right there. That's all you have to do. Is look for this shape. Whether it's here, whether it's here, whether it's here, whether it's all the way up here, or if it's right now with that 30-minute divergence. And then you dip down into who? Well, you want to go down into those buyers, right? Now, you don't necessarily want to go too much lower than that, right? Because you start to do what? See a 3 move down, and then you start to look at this low. So now you're going, okay, if that 2-hour doesn't, most likely the 2-hour turns up again, by the way. So all the analysis that we're doing from this point forward is less likely to happen. You are much more likely to just see a 2-hour pullback and a 2-hour go up into positive territory. The daily scale, though, because the daily is up so high, if you ever get a random turn down, right, the daily just starts moving, right? You break this low, the 2 hours going, look for that to pull down deep. Talking deep. Best case for the daily time frame is like you hold up in here. That would mean daily pulls down into here, daily crosses up. Look at the shape, the U, the nice U. And then you try to make that thing here and you say, oh, this is risky. Okay, we made a new high. I'm feeling good. I'm looking for a target. The other thing about this is this could extend on the 2-hour first and then show that look down here. That would be nice. If you don't hold up in that zone, let's talk about if this sees a dump. Where are you looking? Well, we kind of have it marked off, actually. You could look all the way down towards 220 again. I don't think that happens here. I think you're very likely to try to hold up in here or in here, and maybe the 2-hour just sees something little like this to go up and set that trap, and then we see boom, 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 and then you actually figure your stuff out, and right over here is your actual daily pullback. But the next opportunity on something like Carvana is a 2-hour pullback. FOMOing is never a good thing. If you're confused or you don't know what to do about something, if you don't know what to do about something, then you do know what to do about something. Right? What is not X? Let me explain that to you, okay? Let's type this out. This is actually very interesting. Don't know what to do. What does that mean? This statement alone tells you what you need to do because you're already doing it. I want to see if you guys understand what I'm saying here. This statement is already you saying what you're supposed to do and you are currently doing. If you do not know, if you are confused and you do not know what to do, what does that mean you are doing? That means you are doing, well, if I could do this. Let's see. That means you are doing nothing. NA, what is that? That is not X. What is doing something? X. What is not doing something? Not X. What is knowing what to do? X. What is not knowing what to do? Not X. So what is the one that makes sense to put money behind? When you know what to do. Not when you don't know what to do. That makes no sense. That makes 0 sense. Hey, I don't know what to do here. Hey, I got a fire in my house and I have no idea what to do. The whole house is burning down. Oh man. Like okay, you're just going to do nothing about the fire and you're just going to walk out of the house. You have to that's a very key thing mentally with like trading. Is like if you don't know what's going on, you don't know what to do, then do nothing. That is not your proof to take X. It is your proof to take not X, which not X equals nothing. Stay out of your risk. Does that make sense? If you don't know what to do, then take the money and run. Pretty much. Suri's like, not Apple. It's not Apple right now. It's definitely not Tesla right now. Apple, you got a shot right here, my friend. Apple, this is your last shot, buddy. Because we look like we're about to go to Dump City. Like legitimately, you look like these 2 hours do not look happy. You can see how it would break down, but you can also see how it would hold up. It is very weird to see this move stop. If we stopped on the 2 hour here, it would be very strange. It would make way more sense to just like rock it up and then see that pull back on the 2 hour. Or like rock it up, see that 2 hour, then go again. Like that would make more sense. You don't have the right things right now. So it just would be kind of a random occurrence, I think. I think you're going to see some weird, unexpected news if we fall like really dramatically. Let's see here. What do we got? What do we got? I don't really want to do that. I know to not get in early, but I still got. Yeah, Vital, as long as you're managing risk early, right? If your plan allows you to get in early, right? It's not, I get in early. Well, did the things happen that you needed to happen first? If you're getting in early, there still should be some kind of inclination as to why you're getting in early. Okay? That getting in early could be here on this bar. And you say, okay, we are above the 9. And we see this cross up on the RSI. Okay, I'm in early. We took out the high, so retest is happening. What am I doing? Am I reloading? Am I managing for a moment and making sure that's okay? But getting in early, you still want some forms of confirmation in my book, right? If you're doing little 5-minute charts to get in really early, okay. But it more so would be along the lines of like, I at least need to see something confirmed. Right? I at least need to have a reason. Maybe like a weekly move and stuff like that too. Maybe weekly move, and maybe you're taking longer out options. Did SoFi end up? Ah, there it goes. There it goes. There it goes. Go, go, go. Rotate into small caps. How big is SoFi actually? I never look at these things. I probably should. Damn. That could be bigger. that could be bigger. How far apart? I mean, I like to think of it as a common sense standpoint. Like, I would say this right now, this is too far apart. For a 30, it really depends. I mean, you really want to take it into consideration with like common sense in my book. And that's the best way to explain it. This is where time and market, I think, is very important, Josh. Just keep looking at them and look at ones that are extended and be like, is that going to work? And look at how it extends. So if you look at like a MACD, if you look at a MACD and you see it like this, you want to always treat it like it can continue. Why? Because it's extended to where what? What's the, okay, here's the better way to put it. What's the most important thing that we tell you about divergences in the course? What's the most important thing? How significant the divergence is, right? How the significance of the divergence matters a ton. And you should know what that means if you took the course, right? You should know what that means. The significance of the divergence is what matters. That significance, if it is greater or a lesser significant look, can tell me a lot about how I should dictate the play. So if I see a divergence that's like this, right? Let's say center line, I get that to go up, then it comes down, then it goes up again, and then it goes down. Okay, how likely is that one to play out versus how much better would this one look? If you go up, you come down, kind of cross that center for a sec, then you pop up, and then you curl down. Which one do you think is better? Here, we'll call it, you can shout it out in the chat, 1 and 2. Which one is the better look? Which one is more significant? 1 or 2, 1 or 2, 1 or 2. Take your pick, take your pick. Makes sense. Do you get it, Josh? All right, 2. Good. We're getting some 2s out there. Yeah, you get what I'm saying, Josh? I feel like visually it was easier to describe. So why is 1 worse than 2? Because 1 has a lot of room in positive territory to do what? Figure shit out and just curl up and violate those divergences and then start that game all over again, right? So this one right now looks like what? What does this one look like? 1 or 2 on your 30-minute? I don't care about this right now. I care about this right here. What does this look like? 1 or 2? It looks like 1. Doesn't it? It looks like 1. Which means it can fail. This can be bad. But we're very likely to do what? Set up like a lower high, curl this thing back up. This is more likely to do those type of things. This one over here, no, that thing can go negative. You'll at least see 1 nice solid move down. So this looks like 1 right now, which tells me, hey, just like don't get overly bearish, right? It means what? Look at the trend. This market is a lot of the time bullish. We just broke through and made a new high. So look if this continues one more time. Now, once you see this divergence, this is where you start to go, oh, we're getting pretty close to that trend. We look like a 2-hour pullback could come, okay? What if you don't make a divergence here, right? What if you just rocket ship? Oh, we start all over again. Or we look for a lower high. Very helpful. I took the course by. Okay, good. Well, that's good. We're just giving you a little refresher there then, for the most part. We explain it a little bit differently in the course. We just use MACDs and stuff like that, but it's good to kind of, look at it this way too. And this is something that I wanted to bring to that community, by the way, that I'm really thinking about making that in the back end, just to focus a little bit deeper into people who really want to learn. Having like a class like once or twice a month where like just all, Patreon, the people that are part of that membership could join for that live show. And we can literally just have a whole time where we just study, like go thoroughly into MACD, look at previous behavior, practice, do those things, look at the management for the trade, just so you can see those examples. And then the next time we'll look at RSIs and things like that. I thought that would be a good thing. Like just to do it live with you, because I know that getting it in the video format is good in the course, but also just being able to clear up those simple things, because you might just not be seeing it a little bit as clear, right? Just like we just explained it. You took the course, but we explained it that way and that helped you. That's what I want to open up this community to do. I want to be able to explain it in multiple ways because people understand things in multiple different ways. I want to get the lights to come on. Yeah, I did. I know. I was talking real slow. I felt like a douche though, Jonna. But I'm glad that you were able to get something from it. That's the goal, right? That's the ultimate goal. Get something from it. Exactly, Josh. That's why I like it. And if we do it like on, say, Sunday nights or something, or Sunday mornings or something like that, we don't necessarily have to do it while markets move. And then we can watch live together to show, like, hey, this is a potential. Do you see this? This is what's setting up now. We studied this weekend. Okay, we can try to execute on this if you want, right? Take the trade how you want to take it. Look what kind of trade you're taking. Are you taking just one leg? Are you taking a month out call? What's the position? I think that would be a great thing. Just go a little bit more in depth and focused, and actually able to see weekly and monthly moves on the charts in real time to show you guys how those work too would be awesome, because we've been seeing them constantly. Yeah, we're gonna look into that, Jonna. We're gonna look into it. We got to make sure to put something on it. So, like, we can't have trolls in there and stuff. We want to be focused. We've been doing like little, like, once every 3 weeks or so. I've been doing little Sunday lives where we just kind of, I talk about certain topics. Sometimes it's when I can't make a video, like I don't want to edit a video. Sometimes it's just that I hate editing personally. Um, but yeah, we've been doing that on the weekends, and people really enjoy it. And I see the good it really does. Like I think we've seen lights come on more in those videos even during like live shows, which is kind of great. Like the when the market's actually moving. Oh, I asked you, we still have in a library that long Sunday video. Exactly. So I want to do that more often, Jonna, for a focused group of people. That group of people can be larger. I just want to make sure everyone in that group is focused, is like, we're here for the right reasons. We're here to learn. We're here to try to find setups and be kind of a community that just looks at things together. And then I'm like the teacher in there. I think that'd be very cool. Then maybe we could turn that into some kind of financial media in the future. I think that'd be really cool. I just flip a coin every day. Netflix 5 minute just said, I am the market, and I dig it. Netflix is a beast. Netflix is a beast. This thing just refuses. Every single time it's going to curl down. And we've talked about these moments before. The only one we really were like, okay, this one here. But we didn't have the confidence even here. Like, I didn't have the confidence to take this. I was like, Netflix is just a psychopath. Netflix is literally a psychopath. Um, but thankfully, like, it did pull down. The reason that Netflix is so good is the daily divergence. Okay, this daily divergence is insane. This means that now you can literally do this now. You don't have to break down at all. I would do that. I'd be marking this guy off now. I'd just be looking at this. Maybe leave that level marked off. But for now, you're just looking at this. Like, if you get a big ass daily pullback, that big ass daily pullback could just be to here, which that's actually more percent than you think. And then you can also use this zone to tell you if it wants to go deeper into like earnings or something later on. Very good zone to have to see direction there. And then you got to execute a trade based on your strategies. But this thing is just moon buoying, and it's starting to violate divergence again. Look at that. Yeah, it's moon buoying. Sheesh. Coin. That is a freaking move, dude. All right, so here we go. Dip into it. Let's go. That's exactly. Wait, let's see. Oh, we could have gone a little lower, but still, not bad. What do I think of Palantir? I thought Palantir looked really good, right? We talked about this right away. Earlier, I think, was this like last week, Friday or something? Yeah, we talked about this last week, and the thing we were saying was this. This is the simplest thing we were saying. I wasn't even saying, like, I said Palantir needs a squeeze moment, and it looks like it could get it. Why? Well, because, yeah, you're making lower highs, but look how many consecutive higher lows you were able to produce here. It's very, very good. And then overall, what was it doing, right? What were we doing in here? Well, we're coming back into that zone that we created just below here, which is nice. And if we pull that across, we see, oh, okay, there's resistance possibly becoming a support in some way. So you're turning this resistance point, sorry, The dotted line there, you're turning these little resistances in here into what? Potential support area. And so what you're looking for here is the liquidity grab. Do you guys see it? See this guy, that wick? So that can be your grab. And then what you want to see here is just the 2-hour curl up, and the 2-hour did. And there's your grab. And now you make a new high. So you're looking for what? Another grab. 30-minute curls down, 30-minute curl back up. But the problem now is you have a wall of sellers and you're able to go negative for a bit. So you need to see like a pop-off moment again, or else this can just roll and go down deeper, and then you don't want it to break that zone and keep rolling. So as of right now, I think Palantir looks good. I think it has extended out divergence that you can see potentially even on daily time frame with the rejection. And so there's extreme weakness here on the daily time frame. So what we're really paying attention to a lot on like charts like Palantir is, do they get one more move to the upside? Like that's kind of what it looks like to me. One more move to the upside. Like that's what it looks like. And then it seems we're going to have to reach down a little bit further. Yeah, and you look at this week. Yeah, okay, Palantir. This can't continue for a long time, but you might go through a weekly pullback. Then you kind of build up from here, like this. That would be best case scenario here. You do see your indicators are showing some terrible things on your RSI. You want to go look at a significant divergence right now. You look at the weekly time frame for Palantir. It can continue. It's a weekly chart, so it can continue for way longer than you think, by the way. But as far as leaps go, okay, we were dramatic there a little bit. Okay, we just got way more dramatic, okay? So if this starts to confirm down on the weekly chart, that does say big weakness. But weirdly enough, a weekly pullback seems pretty probable here. So you want to be cautious. Your MACD is still at a level where it's like even. So you have a lot of room here where you can just figure your stuff out and turn up. Like here, look at this. See that divergence? See how you pull down even from these type of levels and you get that next curl up? What I would rather see here for like the weekly chart is just kind of like do this for a little while longer. We'll see. But Palantir is a beast. I do not really bet against Palantir very often. Let's look at moves for this as well. So if you get that like extended, maybe 2 more pushes higher, you could see something like 150 by the end of the month. Yeah, this 30-minute has to get going though. So if you want to see that hit like 150, you got to see a move here, I think. And then you see another one like this. And then I would be watching out right here. So it looks like you might have another push left in you. But if you start to roll daily charts, 2-hour charts, guys, the game could change. You're not rolling them as of now. You're seeing it catch. That's good. You needed positivity pretty quick there. Let me go use the restroom and I'll be right back. All right, we're back. 5 minutes. Let's do this real quick. Let's get into this for the last bit of the stream. All right. Okay. So one thing to note: when we made new highs, right? We go make a new high. Look out for these type of moves, right? So we're looking at that potentially right now. You notice that volatility slightly increases, right? We're very dud. Then it slightly increases, and then you get those moves up. So that's kind of what you're looking for here. You are looking for volatility to slightly increase. You are looking for that to show you the way down. All right, showed the way down. Big retest moment, almost a breakthrough. Very nice, but no. Now you have that dictated kind of high. Come down until that high is broken. We start that up trend again. You head down. So you're very likely to do what? Reject, go deeper, right? But what you'd want to do is kind of stall this out for a little while and then pull it down like this. So what can we look for as far as this is kind of price action? And I think that's kind of hard to guess because price action can be pretty wild. So if you're really trying to estimate or guess, right, get a good guesstimation of what could happen here in this 5 minute that I could react to, right? You're just making up a scenario that you could react to. I would look for what? Well, potential for 5 minute divergence anywhere down here, right? I want this 1, 2, 3 kind of come up to here. And then I want to see that flush down, kind of like this type of move happens again, right? This type of move happens again. We go down to, say, lower prices. And then you see this on your MACD. Bam, right there. That's all I want to see. That is the first inclinations that we can turn around. So that is something that I'd be paying attention to on your 5 minute chart. And we see that as of right now, this is continuing to the downside pretty aggressively. Keep going. Keep going. Oh, we tested the damn low. This would be too tight. That would be much too tight. But price is doing some crazy things right in here. That's kind of wild. Where are the Qs sitting? Qs haven't even lost these lows in here. But do you see this? Like, do you see why squeezing is so bad to, like, hard to short? You've been going up this whole time, and your MACD is just going, like, down. And your RSI is not overbought anymore at all. You're almost at the center line. And look where you are. You're higher than the last time you were at anywhere at these highs, right? This is where you had divergence, and you're still up higher. So kind of a tough spot there. VIX is running into 5-day right now. SPY's running into 5-day right now. Good potential. Ah, yeah, Goog. Ah, yeah, Goog. Amazon. Oh, still good, actually. Weirdly enough. Hey, what are you guys doing? You're not supposed to be green. Stop going green. Right off that trend line. Stop going green. No, I'm just kidding. Weirdly enough, that might be a higher low. Shorter term. Try to pop off, son. Is everything, like, it literally looks like everything's about to pop or everything's about to drop. It kind of looks like that kind of thing. It's a very risky time. All right, as far as 2-hour price action, this right here is one of the little retest areas right in there. pretty spot on to start off. So this is an area where we can bounce. Look at the 5-day right there too, man. This is what you want. You do not, I don't think you want this to do this, by the way. I don't think you want this. I think you want to see like just vertical soon. I think you just want to see up. Personally, that's what I think. Like break through 600 and just everything rolls up, everything rolls up, everything rolls up. Because I'm trying to look at this 2 hour and I'm just like, man, this would mean like we go like this, then the 2 hour pulls back, then we head up, right? But if we want to get to monthly expected move, that means you pretty much, actually you could do it into end of month too, by the way. It doesn't have to be like this, but I mean, you kind of pull back down and like this. No, you'd have to see like rip. Damn, this is going to be a wild time. I'm going to go on vacation in the middle of all this? Ah, shit, guys, we might be screwed. Grinding up to 533. Yeah, I mean, the wick up here in the off 5-day and the perfect retest for the SPY. Literally perfect right in the first buyers. Did the Qs do the same? The Qs don't really have it. Yeah, they don't really have the liquidity grab. It's great to violate the divergence, though. That's a good sign. You still have multiple point. I would say it's just a little bit more Behind multiple point, I still want to see a 30-minute divergence. And you get it on the RSI. Is this just going to do something irrational here? What do you think, Tony? I'd love to hear your thoughts on the Qs, but I mean, obviously you would say this is very high potential, but this into a 2-hour pullback? Right? Like, am I seeing that correctly? Like, this, oh no, it'd be too small. Like, right? If you want to get to there, you got to extend. Like, you got to extend this up. Then you pull it back. Then you go higher. And then you get to that type of area. I'm really wondering if we even get to monthly expected move pretty much. Or if this is just very controlled. Monthly expected move is just like, it's kind of out there. Yeah, you think I would think AVGO, the tricky thing for the market to do with AVGO, if you really want to say like how do they make people lose money, it's actually go call side first. I bet you money everyone is looking at that chart trying to take puts. I'll actually go look. I'm gonna go look. If they're not, I would be very surprised. I mean, or if there's a ton of long calls, I expect those to be gone. Yeah, a little bit more puts than calls. I thought it would be more skewed than that. Oh, there we go. There we go. Come on, baby, come on. Let's see here. Where's that DJ Tizzle? See, why are you looking interesting, bro? Why are you looking at me like that? Why is this guy going? Wait a second. Are we gonna see some rotation? Nvidia's still doing it, man. That's so crazy because Nvidia had the way worse look, in my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong, right? Didn't lose the low, but you got divergence here. God dang, like you have divergence everywhere, man. Like this is that multiple point. I like to see 30-minute divergence behind it. AMD has 30-minute divergence, but it crossed. It didn't break the low yet. You need to see it break that low too, but you're feeling pretty good about it if you entered like here. You're feeling good. You're just going, hey, I hope this 15-minute never curls back up like right now. That would be a problem. That'd be management for risk. Meta's like, yeah, I'm on my last leg. I'm on my last leg. Holy crap, please pull back is Meta right now. Meta, very nice. Getting out of the zone. Looks like it's going to target that 716. Let's see if we can give you a level for Meta. I will give you the level for Meta. You are well past it right now for the week. 700 flat. That makes sense. That could be a pretty good sell wall. I wonder if you have 700s in the options here. Oh, Jesus. 700. Be very, very careful if you reject from 700. If you can get past 700, you can get rolling. So that thing could just keep going. Right? This could be a whole nother extended one of these. Look at the divergence down here too. Remember Meta? Like if that happens, I always like to go it's smaller than that. I just like to look at the high and say 741 is as high up as I would ever think it would get for me to even hold on to. Wow. Good stuff, man. Oh, wipe my nose. All right, 2 seconds, Turkish. Things are getting very interesting. Volatility. Ooh, turn down on the 30-minute. We squeezing. Ugh, I keep getting this little headache now too. God dang. SoFi is gone. Goodbye. Let's go, dude. Yo, get past $17. Let's go. Hell yeah. Looks good. Palantir, man, you need a squeeze, buddy. Oh gosh, I just can't really see Palantir squeezing here. Can anyone else not see that? I can literally only see like, uh, oh fudge. That's like all I can see right now for Palantir. Um, like, I guess that's how it would continue. Ah, DJT, what are you doing? You're supposed to go up now. I talked about you this morning. You're supposed to go up. Just go up, DJT. It's fine. It's fine. You're in positive territory. Curl it. Come on. Let us be right on like a lot of these. Give us that good feeling going into Friday. Apollo, thanks for subscribing. Posting on True Social now. Oh shh. Oh god. Rare Earths agreement included. Fudge off, dude. For real? Oh man, I don't know. Oh my goodness. That's so crazy, man. What's going on here? Hold on. Stuff's being all janky. Prepaid for volatility. Yeah, this thing's just gonna fucking tumble now. Or is it? Well, I guess you said like what? He's posting potential deals. Hey, there's those deals they were talking about in the next 2 weeks. What if this thing just rocketed to like 618 today? That'd be so sick. No, that would not happen here. You were probably gonna go like if you rip to the upside, you'll go to if you go down, you go to 590.94. If you go up, you'll actually go to like 602 probably if this is actually good news. But he's not speaking, just a conference. So we're gonna take a hit on the chips, but investors would still see that chips caving on chips would not be a bad thing for investors, I think. Right? Do I have that correct? If he gets rid of the chip stuff, that's just better for investors. And then if you do the rare earth thing, that's just another good thing, a deal going through. Yeah, it's a good thing. Or is it not a good thing? I can't tell. Shani, let's see, he posts a long message, but no data really, just positive sentiment, not enough to market up for this run. That's true. Really? You think Sox does that? Let's see. I mean, they're kind of going. Imagine, oh God, imagine AVGO earnings is like good too. This needs a fucking pullback. Holy, you need to pull back to like 49.50. Yo, stop ripping. Oh God, it's my internet. My internet. Oh, by the way, we lost power multiple times this week. We've had crazy thunderstorms that shake the fucking whole building and like it's crazy. Um, so my power's been going out like still. I think it went out again yesterday. It's been sucking. Dude, you just made a new high. This could extend the move. Like you could just see something irrational here. Like the smarter thing is just like, oh, we tumble down to 4,500 again. But the irrational thing is we're gonna go for 53.71. My goodness, dude, that is just wild. I mean, if we get that, like, is this seriously like no, 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 no. You need on-demand backup. I actually probably do. It's not that big a deal. I mean, I could just like set up that thing with my phone or whatever, hotspot or something. Nothing about chips. Yeah, that's going to be in the actual deal. Higher probability we extend this move. I kind of agree with that, Phantom. I kind of like that statement. I think if you're going to get your down moment, you would rather have your down moment. You would rather, let's time it out. When would you rather do this? You'd rather have it on Monday, I think. No, it might have to be later than that. What you want here is Mega Boom. Like literally, I think you want like Mega Boom into this, into this. Then you can go through something ugly. Then actually, this might stop short and turn up for the 2 hour, and then you go set up things up here. If this is really going to remain like good for a long time, it has to do something like that. That's how, at least that's how I see it. But I would think that if you're right, Jomo, I would say like now. If your 2-hour thing's going to happen, just get it out of the way now. So I kind of agree with you actually, Jomo, now that I'm thinking about it. I agree with you on the front end, and then I know where it could be later if it's like not now. And it's pretty much like at the beginning, right in the middle, or right at the end. And it's just all at that sequence for the month. Yeah, we kind of agree there. All-time highs next week. They will let the options expire this week. If you let the options expire this week, that adds up to 2-hour pullback sooner rather than later. You let the options expire this week, then you'd probably still want to hit 601 this week. So maybe 601, sell off with data in the morning tomorrow. Try to 2-hour pullback most of the day. Possible. Yeah, sorry, I was looking at a wall, by the way, doing that. I was trying to picture it in my head. So that would mean we extend, then on Friday morning you dump, and then maybe even on Monday into other things you dump a little bit more, and then you turn around. That would be your 2-hour pullback. I don't see that though. I kind of see mega rip right now, and then we use 600 as support, weirdly enough. I see like this, like bam, way overextended. Let's do this. I'll put a level up for you. Patreon members, I believe you should have these levels that I'm about to put up. 612. Clone that bad boy. Let's see, 612, 76. If we were to see something absolutely crazy, we can get to there. That would be just nuts. I would be selling everything. I'd be like, I'm done. I'm done. I'm getting a pullback. I'd be like, I'm done with that. That means IWM could potentially get to 217 like this week. Like I said, I think you're gonna do. Don't forget, by the way, when I said that this is gonna happen over there, I wasn't including all of it. Let me do this. I think that this is going to happen over here, by the way. This is what I think is happening. Up, right? So I'm saying that like this is going to happen. Does that make sense? I'm saying like that's going to happen, except at the end here, you're going to do this and you're going to roll. Like I think that would be the fastest way to top out right here, would be see that. And then everyone thinks this, but then this happens. During when, by the way? So when would this take place? And you might get this tag up here, by the way, on like the 13th. It would happen on the OPEX just before VIXpiration and actual like monthly OPEX. Or I'm sorry, just OPEX. You'd actually have that expiration before OPEX. Yeah, that's how I see it. Like this is how maybe you go all the way up into like Monday, maybe you come up into here, maybe you do triple divergence here. But what is this? This is your 2-hour. This is a 2-hour divergence right here that maybe gets that extension and then flops, or gives you a lower high and then flops. That's how I view this market right now. And so if we get anywhere close to that pathing, or we're just, doing it in a different way, extend it over, right, like this, doesn't really matter. All I have to do is understand the pathing a little bit here of what I'm looking for. And then I can say, okay, this is my 2-hour pullback, so I should sell here if we get there. Okay, if I can catch that, I sell here, right? And then we get the 2-hour pulling back to retest, and then we actually go higher again, and then I potentially even sell there. So I have like kind of 2 trades if I want to. One would still be this leg here. The next one would be over here. And then the next one would be here. And then I start to do that hedge risk position. And then we see if we can get a fall. And then the trades are here and here. Or just one leg, right? It depends on the time frame you're looking at. But that's how I see it. If you want a screenshot, that's what I think. We'll see if it plays out. All you have to do to invalidate that is lose this low. Really, all you have to do to start to invalidate that is like maybe break trend here. So I don't want to break trend. I want to go up. Did you guys like that? I mean, I don't know if I was even making sense there. I was not looking at chat at all. I think we'll miss 1 month there, Oscar. I think we'll extend it 1 more month. I'm looking at August. Or I'm not August, sorry. I'm looking at October. You're in your own little ADHD world. I am. I was just like, oh, I really want to analyze this. What percentage up would that be from here? I think it's like 4%. Sorry, that's monthly move monthly move down here was 4%, but this would be about 2.5. 2.5. But I'm like, you literally are looking at signals that say we should go like that. You literally are about to have that. Like if you just do this, that's not enough, man. You're going to get a 2-hour pullback here. Very likely if you see this thing confirm right here. 600 level gets tagged and we reject off of it. Yeah, I'm pretty much like, okay. Does that make sense? Like, yeah. But there's a lot of things squeezing though. I'm seeing a lot of things point out squeezing, which I think is very interesting because you do have some stocks that haven't seen the mega squeeze. Like the thing that they could really start to see is here. Like Apple goes. Okay, what else? Google really starts to go again. Amazon starts to go again, right? These things have reloaded. So they're ready to scream. They are. And that can hold the SPY up while there's also rotation to small caps. You're seeing a lot of small caps start to explode. Oh, God. You're so pretty. You're so pretty. See, JP Morgan looks more rough, doesn't it? Doesn't JP Morgan look more rough? JP Morgan looks like it's about to be like, oh, boom. But what if JP Morgan goes like this first? Then you see a little divergence here on the daily, and then that goes boom. Hey, guess what? Expiration's right there. Yeah, so a lot of interesting looks out there for the market. It looks like they're going to try in some way to extend. If they fail to extend high enough, like get above 600, then I think that we're going to run into problems. Like even if we just tag weekly expected move, I want to see it take that level confidently and show that rolling. Manipulation, maybe? Well, price is constantly manipulated by everyone buying and selling. Now, I would say this, channel KRP, Trump posted something about deals or something. Or there's news potential for a deal coming through soon with China or something. Which can be a good thing, right? So people are reading into it like, hey, oh, I got the first inclination of this happening. It's a good thing. Okay, they're going to try to do some good things with it. And volatility is suggesting it's a good thing. And the SPY is kind of suggesting it's a good thing by curling up on the RSI technically almost right now. Look at that thing. It's trying. It's about to. Price is telling you it's good. We're going to go, go, go. We look at a 5-minute. We can see what? We'll probably see pathways higher. We see those pathways. Tested wick. That's the scary one. Now you're looking in here. So this is probably going to extend further, actually. You would like it to, right? Make the high. Beat that level. Beat it. Then you can come back down into like 597 again and try to go again. This is all good things. This is the irrational side of the market that you're noticing here. This is why we haven't been even discussing really shorting anything. It's just an irrational market. It's too hard to call a top on just yet. Now, we're about to go into the third leg of like the most extended we could get. And then we could just go sideways. But I think we're going to see I still see a lot of risk for July. A lot of the reason for the risk in July I see is because this isn't enough for me. This little thing here, I think you're just asking for bad things in a few days. I think you're just like, okay, we need to actually see the pump here. You come down into this area, you start to scoop up and just rip, and then you start to come back down. Or you even see like rip, boom, 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 into August. Maybe you're right on September. Maybe you're right on cuts near September. That is the first month where the odds go up. Did we already go over Amazon? Yeah, Amazon's a daily scale play for the most part, and you just want to make sure on the shorter time frames you're what? Well, now you want to move it up. I don't want to lose this low, right? Just move that little green line up. We didn't want to lose this. Great little tap in. Tiny, tiny bit of pathway higher, so you're looking for the tap in. At the 5-day moving average is nice, but you just curled up on the MACD and boom, to the races. What's going on here for the 2-hour chart? 2-hour chart's scooping up, starting to look like what? Pretty vertical, right? So it looks like it's maybe going to see one of these moments. And I think it will. That's what I think for Amazon. I don't have money on Amazon though, just so we're clear about that. Like this, you peek your head above, you come back down, go up maybe one more time, then you start to see something bad. Come take care of this business. Everyone thinks it's awful, right? That'll happen. A lot of people think that all the time. Daily scale, though, is the main play here. Just daily turning back up. Daily makes divergence, right? So daily divergence can pop up where? Right here. This is all I'm talking about is this right here. So the daily can get up to like here. It needs to do what to go like mega bull? It needs to like go wham, test that high. It needs to go all the way up there. Then you can daily pull back like this. Right? So you want to see big moves here. If you don't see big moves and this 2-hour confirms down, it gets risky again. That's just how it works. You got to be very reactive right now and be like holding my conviction with my longs, but also very aware of what I need to pay attention to, my plan for if it goes wrong. And the 2-hour divergence on the SPY is like making it so you're like very aware. If that crosses down, that's bad. And if you trust the technicals and that's what makes you manage your risk, that's fine if you miss out on a big move. You are doing the right things based on your trading strategies. It's not a bad thing to miss out on a move and follow your strategies. Okay? Like if something is too risky for you, it's too risky for you. And if it ends up being a play that someone else makes money on, whoop-de-freaking-do. So maybe my plan here is, hey, if the 2-hour crosses down, we're probably getting daily pullback. So I'm not going to short it in case we squeeze, but I will take my risk off because it is too risky for me to try to catch that move. I could say that out loud to myself. I can understand my feelings toward the stock at this moment. And I can say, okay, now I'm aware if I have to manage risk today, I'm saying I will potentially miss out on an upward move or downward move. And I'll just sit back and watch. And then if I get the daily pullback, I go, sweet, I was right. And your reward is buying something cheap while everyone lost money. Your reward is understanding it's probably not a crash. Can't believe we might make new all-time high. Like, where the hell could this thing be going? Should we do like trend lines? I think we should do like trend lines or something. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. That kind of adds up to pretty much what I think's gonna happen. Oh, damn. Maybe we'll leave that there. Well, actually, now we just know it's there, so we know that's up there. Oh my God. Are you going to get those rate cuts in September? Let me shape this out. I just want to see a timing for this. Oh my God. You dip into the center of here. Holy shit. You don't even go down here. That would be psycho. That would be, they start to talk about cutting rates in September and people front run it. Oh, that would be crazy. I don't know. I think you still have the chance to like dip down lower than that, like down to here still, but wow. Wow, that is kind of nuts. That's a nuts look. That's pretty wild. Alrighty. Well, it is just past our time where we have to hop off, but I have to get out of here. I hope you guys had a great time today, and we will have a YouTube video for you tonight. Last night, I did have my mother's like actual birthday dinner. So I wasn't able to make a video last night, but I am tonight. So be looking out for that YouTube video later on. And I will be potentially hopping back to Patreon in the chat if I see anything interesting throughout the day. If you Patreon members just want to have that chat open throughout the day, I'd appreciate that. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. Like and subscribe and doing all that great stuff. Just being here is fantastic. It was good to see you, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Talk to you guys later, all right? Peace out.